Have you ever stopped to think about how many amazing games you might be missing out on without even realizing it? Sometimes we open our gallery packed with games, but still feel like we have nothing to play. But there are true gems that get overshadowed by the big releases, yet are worth every second of gameplay. You'll discover 20 games that, if you haven't played yet, you might regret not finding sooner. These games not only deliver innovative mechanics, but also narratives and experiences that go beyond the ordinary. If you're new to the channel, welcome to Play Hunters. I bring you daily content so you won't miss any details from the gaming universe. If you can subscribe and help the channel grow, I'd really appreciate it. Gamer to gamer. First on our list is The Wolf Among Us. This game is a true masterpiece when it comes to immersive storytelling. Inspired by dark fairy tales, it transforms classic characters into mysterious figures full of secrets. The choices you make throughout the story really affect how the plot unfolds, and it's impossible not to feel the weight of every decision. The gaming experience is intense, always filled with moments that make you think before you act, which is something you rarely see in other games of the genre. The story quickly draws you in, making it hard to put the controller down. From the dialogues to the action scenes, everything flows naturally, keeping the tension high. The interactions with the characters are rich and bring up moral questions that go beyond the game. Every conversation, every decision feels like part of a giant chess game where everything has consequences. Nothing is left out when the goal is to create a gripping interactive thriller. With stylized graphics that help build a captivating atmosphere, the game creates a unique universe filled with mysteries and surprises. The most impressive thing is the constant feeling that each choice is shaping the future of this universe, giving the player a sense of complete control over the story, keeping you hooked from beginning to end. In second place, we have ArcheAge Chronicles, a game that combines exploration and intense battles in a vast open world. Right from the start, players are thrown into a setting full of possibilities, where decisions affect not only the storyline, but also how the world around you reacts. The highlight here is the freedom it offers, from building your own fortifications to engaging in epic naval battles. Every detail contributes to creating an immersive experience in a constantly evolving universe. The combat system offers a variety of styles, allowing for unique combinations of skills. It's a game where strategy matters as much as action, especially in head-to-head battles, which are a spectacle on their own. The customization options add a personal touch, letting each player shape their character to fit their playstyle. Naval battles and territorial wars add an extra layer of complexity, constantly challenging players to think beyond just combat. The dynamic world is full of secrets waiting to be discovered, with missions and events that constantly shift the course of things. Even after hours of gameplay, there's always something new to explore or fresh challenges to face. In third place is Wild Hearts, a game that blends action and adventure in a world filled with gigantic creatures. What sets this game apart is its environment, packed with mysteries and an impressive fauna. From the start, players are thrust into a dangerous universe where each battle against giant monsters is a true test of skill and strategy. The stunning visuals and creature designs make every fight unique and unforgettable, always keeping players on edge. The gameplay focuses on fast-paced combat and strategic skills. You need to understand enemy attack patterns to know the right moment to strike and defend. The feeling of victory after taking down one of these giant creatures is indescribable, something that few games manage to capture with such intensity. The customization of weapons and armor adds even more depth, offering multiple options for players to adapt their playstyle. The game's world is alive, with an environment that invites exploration. There's always something new to discover, whether it's a new challenging enemy or an uncharted location. The combination of exploration and battles keeps the game dynamic and exciting with each new session, keeping players engaged for hours and always looking for the next big challenge. Continuing on, we have Vane, a game that stands out for its artistic and atmospheric approach. Players explore a vast and desolate world filled with mysteries that unfold as you progress. The focus here is on the feeling of discovery and the emotional connection with the environment. The transitions between scenes are almost hypnotic, and the way the narrative develops without traditional dialogue creates a unique experience, where every visual detail tells a story. Gameplay revolves around exploration and puzzle solving, often using the environment in creative ways. The freedom of movement is a key feature, allowing players to feel like a part of this intriguing world. As you uncover the secrets of this place, it's impossible not to be impressed by how the environment transforms, making progress constantly surprising. The soundtrack deserves special mention, as it perfectly complements the game's melancholic and mysterious atmosphere. Every new area discovered brings a deeper sense of immersion, and the shifts in perspective create truly memorable moments. The visual and auditory impact keeps players captivated, making this a journey worth exploring to the end. Continuing, we have Bulletstorm, a first-person shooter that stands out for its over-the-top action and irreverent humor. Released with the goal of bringing something fresh to the genre, it offers creative mechanics and dynamic combat, encouraging players to eliminate enemies in inventive and often exaggerated ways. The story follows a team of mercenaries on a quest for revenge, but it's the frenetic action that truly steals the spotlight. The gameplay is defined by its skill shots system, which rewards players for taking out enemies in spectacular ways. This can involve launching opponents into traps or using weapons unconventionally, all in pursuit of points that can be spent on upgrading skills and arsenal. This mechanic turns every fight into a chaotic, creative playground, keeping the action consistently engaging. The vibrant and detailed environments contrast with the game's chaotic tone, creating a unique atmosphere in the shooter genre. The sharp, biting humor and snappy dialogue provide memorable moments throughout the campaign. The energetic soundtrack also helps maintain the fast-paced tempo, making each mission an adrenaline-fueled experience. In sixth place, we have Heavenly Bodies, a game that puts players in control of astronauts on a space station, challenging traditional physics concepts. Zero gravity is the main protagonist here, directly affecting movement and creating a series of unique challenges. The sense of control, or lack thereof, is what makes even simple tasks like pressing a button or moving a piece into real adventures filled with tension. The core mechanic involves using the character's arms and legs independently, leading to moments that are equally hilarious and frustrating. The lack of gravity makes every move need careful planning, generating unexpected and often comical situations. Despite the premise seeming simple, the missions become more complex, involving equipment manipulation and solving technical problems, all while battling to stay in control. The minimalist visuals and sound design help create an experience that mixes tranquility and tension in equal measure. The space setting, combined with unpredictable physics, makes players feel part of a chaotic yet fascinating environment. Every new mission is an opportunity to be surprised by the challenges that arise, always accompanied by memorable moments. In seventh place, we have Night in the Woods, a narrative-driven adventure game that explores deep themes like depression, anxiety, and existential crises. The story follows a young person who returns to their hometown only to find unexpected changes in the lives of their friends and the town itself. The plot unfolds in an engaging way, with dialogues full of humor and melancholy, creating an immediate connection with the player. Gameplay combines exploration and social interactions, where each dialogue choice can reveal more about the characters and their stories. There are many games that emerge naturally throughout the narrative, but the focus is on the conversations and the building of relationships. It's a game that values everyday conversations and small details, prompting the player to reflect on life issues that go far beyond the world of games. With a stylized art design and a soundtrack that perfectly matches the bittersweet tone of the story, The game creates a cozy yet mysterious atmosphere. Continuing, we have Oxenfree, a suspense and mystery game that blends supernatural elements with a strong narrative focus. The story follows a group of teenagers who, during a trip to a mysterious island, accidentally unleash supernatural events. The tense atmosphere and the choices you make throughout the game shape the unfolding of the plot, creating a gripping sense of suspense from start to finish. The stylized visuals, with their soft colors and minimalist design, play a crucial role in the immersion. The art creates a dark and melancholic atmosphere that perfectly complements the supernatural themes and the island's mystery. As you explore the environment, the game's aesthetic pulls you deeper into this strange and unsettling world, where every visual detail seems to hide a new surprise. The gameplay focuses on real-time dialogue, allowing the player to choose how to interact with other characters in a fluid way. These decisions affect not only the plot's development, but also the relationships between the group. The game excels at balancing player choices with the story's pacing, making each interaction meaningful and maintaining a high level of suspense. The supernatural twists add an extra layer of tension to this eerie journey. In ninth place, we have Last Day of June, an emotionally charged game that explores themes of loss and regret. The narrative revolves around a couple who suffer a tragic accident, and the player must explore memories and scenarios to try and change the course of events. The game delves deep into human emotions, and the story unfolds in a way that strikes a chord from the very beginning, leaving a lasting impression. The artistic visuals are stunning, with a hand-painted color palette that gives the game a delicate and melancholic atmosphere. This aesthetic choice perfectly matches the touching story. Each scene is carefully crafted to convey the emotions of the characters, even without spoken dialogue. This makes the environment more than just a backdrop. It becomes a key part of the storytelling itself. In terms of gameplay, it involves solving time-related puzzles. The player interacts with memories and past events to try and alter the future, creating an intriguing dynamic where every action can change the course of events. This unique mechanic, which blends exploration and problem-solving, keeps the game engaging, making each new attempt to change fate bring fresh challenges and surprises. In 10th place, we have Sea of Solitude, a game that deeply and sensitively addresses psychological themes such as loneliness and self-acceptance. The story follows a young woman as she navigates through a flooded world, where monsters symbolize her fears and traumas. The emotionally charged narrative quickly connects the player to the protagonist as she faces her deepest, most complex emotions. The environment is one of the game's major highlights, with breathtaking settings that reflect the character's emotional state. The combination of vibrant colors and dark landscapes creates a visually rich atmosphere that perfectly complements the introspective tone of the story. Each setting changes based on the protagonist's emotions, transforming the world around her as she progresses on her personal journey. The gameplay involves solving puzzles and exploring various environments, while the player confronts symbolic creatures representing the character's inner feelings. Navigating through the world and interacting with these monsters is simple yet meaningful, reinforcing the game's powerful message. Each challenge overcome gives a clear sense of the protagonist's emotional growth, making progress in the story deeply satisfying. In 11th place, we have the Dark Pictures Anthology, a game that dives deep into psychological horror and constant tension. The story takes place during a military mission in the Middle East, where a group of soldiers stumbles upon something far more terrifying than expected. The game masterfully balances suspense and action, keeping players on the edge of their seats, always anticipating the next twist. The gameplay revolves around quick, impactful decision-making. Every choice, no matter how small, can drastically alter the fate of the characters. In addition, the action-packed moments are filled with tension, where quick reflexes can mean the difference between survival or death. The game also features exploration sequences, where players must investigate claustrophobic, enigmatic environments, further enhancing the horror atmosphere. Visually, the game impresses with its effective use of light and shadow, creating oppressive and frightening settings. But the appeal goes beyond graphics. The atmosphere of sound and creature design is crafted to keep players in a constant state of alert. The subtle but effective soundtrack heightens the suspense at key moments, while the sound effects completely immerse you in the terror, making every noise feel like a real threat. In 12th place, we have the Artful Escape, a game that blends music, art, and a journey of self-discovery. The story follows a young musician on a cosmic adventure where he must confront his fears and doubts about who he truly is. The game stands out for its deep and creative narrative, taking players on a journey through vibrant and surreal worlds filled with philosophical and emotional moments. The visuals are a spectacle in themselves, with stunning, psychedelic environments that feel like moving paintings. Each world the player visits is more impressive than the last, with a color palette that dazzles the eye. The combination of lights, shapes, and textures creates a unique visual experience, almost like watching an intergalactic light show. This artistic approach reinforces the game's central theme of artistic expression and the search for identity. The gameplay is light and fluid, focusing mainly on exploration and musical interactions. Players create guitar riffs and solos as they traverse the surreal landscapes, adding a sonic layer that perfectly complements the visual journey. The game's pace is relaxed and contemplative, with moments of pure reflection between action scenes. It's a celebration of creativity and music, keeping players immersed in the character's journey of discovery. In 13th place, we have Seasons After Fall, a platformer that charms with its aesthetics and creative use of the seasons. The story revolves around a fox who, with the help of the season's powers, must solve various mysteries in a magical world. The game combines puzzles with a delightful atmosphere, offering a sense of tranquility as you explore beautiful landscapes and interact with the environment in unique ways. The gameplay shines through its mechanics of switching seasons to solve puzzles. Players must shift between spring, summer, autumn, and winter to progress, transforming the environment and unlocking new paths. This dynamic adds a layer of strategy, keeping the game engaging since each puzzle depends on the correct combination of seasons. The soothing soundtrack and fluid gameplay create an immersive and enjoyable experience. The game is a treat. With hand-drawn graphics, each season brings its own colors and environmental changes, constantly transforming the visual experience. The cycle of the seasons is essential to gameplay, and the transition between them is seamless, allowing players to modify the surroundings as needed. The detailed art makes each location an invitation to continue exploring. In 14th place, we have Biomutant, an open-world game with a unique premise, blending martial arts and exploration in a post-apocalyptic setting. The game lets players explore a vast world filled with mutant creatures and warring factions, all while shaping their story through choices that affect the balance of the planet. The freedom of choice is one of the main attractions, and each new area offers challenges and secrets to discover. The gameplay is highly varied, combining fast-paced combat, mixing firearms and melee abilities, with moments of exploration and puzzle solving. The character customization system is deep, allowing players to alter their physical traits and abilities based on the mutant DNA collected throughout the journey. This customization is key to facing enemies efficiently, adapting to each player's style. The visual aspect stands out with vibrant landscapes and uniquely designed creatures that mix familiar elements with bizarre and unexpected details. The contrast between the beauty of nature and the decay of a destroyed world creates fascinating environments to explore. Each area of the map has a distinct look, keeping exploration engaging. The day-night cycle and weather conditions add layers to the setting, making the world feel alive and dynamic. In 15th place, we have Greedfall, an action RPG set on a mysterious island full of magic, warring factions, and supernatural creatures. players take on the role of a diplomat sent to explore this newly discovered land, where they must forge alliances, fight enemies, and uncover ancient secrets. The story is captivating, with choices that directly affect the course of events, giving players a real sense of agency. The gameplay focuses on combat, exploration, and diplomacy. The battle system is dynamic, combining the use of weapons and magical abilities, while exploration leads to various regions of the island, each with its own culture and mysteries. Furthermore, dialogue and diplomacy options allow players to make decisions that influence relationships with factions and shape the plot's development. Each choice can have significant consequences, making every playthrough unique. Another strength of the game is its setting, inspired by the colonial period, with an aesthetic that blends the old with the fantastical. Lush landscapes, decaying castles, and supernatural creatures create a captivating world to explore. The detailed design of cities and costumes reinforces this unique atmosphere, setting it apart from other RPGs. The soundtrack complements the setting, creating moments of tension and awe. Continuing, we have Rain World, a survival and exploration game that challenges players to endure a hostile and unpredictable environment. You control a solitary creature, struggling to find food and stay safe in a world devastated by deadly rainstorms. The atmosphere is one of constant tension, where every move can be crucial for survival, as the environment is filled with fierce predators. The gameplay is brutally challenging, featuring a physics-based system that uniquely simulates the character's movement, making you feel vulnerable at all times. The game doesn't directly guide the player, leaving them to explore and learn from mistakes, which enhances the sense of isolation. Progression happens naturally, with moments of pure desperation as you try to escape enemies and find shelter before the deadly rain arrives. The environment is dark and oppressive, with settings that blend industrial ruins with organic elements, creating a world where nature has reclaimed control. The fluid and detailed animations, along with the minimalist soundtrack, amplify the feeling of being in a hostile and dangerous place. The rain, a central element of the game, has a powerful visual and auditory impact, intensifying the urgency and the survival atmosphere. In 17th place, we have Blasphemous, a game that combines the Metroidvania genre with dark, religious elements in a gothic fantasy world. You play as a warrior seeking redemption in a cruel universe where religion and pain are deeply intertwined. The fragmented storytelling is captivating and filled with symbolism, providing moments of reflection as you face grotesque enemies and intimidating bosses. The gameplay is marked by challenging combat, where quick reflexes and the proper use of abilities are essential to progress. Exploration of intricate maps requires attention, as each area hides important secrets and shortcuts. Throughout the journey, new abilities are unlocked, granting access to previously unreachable regions, adding a layer of strategy and making progression consistently rewarding. Pixel art is one of the game's highlights, rich in dark and macabre details inspired by religious paintings and Gothic sculptures. Each setting contributes to an oppressive and melancholic atmosphere, while the soundtrack enhances the sense of despair and penitence. The attention to aesthetics and world-building makes the game immersive and captivating, even in its darkest moments. In 18th place, we have Mortal Shell, an action RPG known for its minimalist approach and unforgiving combat. The game places you in a desolate world where grotesque creatures and colossal bosses present a constant challenge. The story revolves around the search for power and understanding in a dark and mysterious universe, where survival depends as much on skill as it does on strategy. The gameplay is the standout feature, with intense, precise battles where blocking and dodging are crucial. The key difference lies in the shells the player can inhabit, each offering unique abilities and combat styles. This mechanic adds an interesting dynamic, allowing you to switch between different warrior types, each with their own characteristics, adapting to different situations. This system adds tactical variety, keeping combat challenging and engaging. The atmosphere is dense and oppressive, with dark settings that evoke a sense of despair and loneliness. The areas are filled with hidden secrets and challenges that test the player at every step, while the understated soundtrack enhances the tension and uncertainty, adding further depth to the immersion. In 19th place, we have Kena, Bridge of Spirits, an action-adventure game that captivates with its beauty and emotional narrative. The story follows Kena, a young spirit guide, on her journey to help lost souls find peace in a world filled with magic and mystery. The plot is heartfelt, and the bond between Kena and the small creatures known as Rot creates a touching and engaging dynamic. The gameplay is fluid, offering a mix of fast-paced combat and puzzle solving. Players use both Kena's physical abilities and the Rot's powers to face enemies and solve environmental puzzles. The combat system is intuitive, but its depth reveals itself over time, especially with the different abilities and powers Kena acquires. The strategic use of the Rot in battles and exploration adds a layer of creativity. The game's design impresses with its attention to detail. The environments are stunning, ranging from lush forests to mystical ruins, all with a magical touch that makes the world feel alive. The fluid animation and artistic style, reminiscent of animated films, create a charming atmosphere. The soundtrack is equally immersive, complementing the sense of adventure and mystery that pervades every moment of the game. Next, we have Level 0, a cooperative horror game that pits teams of scientists against alien creatures in a dark and oppressive environment. The story is set in a research station where communication has failed, and survival becomes a race against time. The key difference is the need for cooperation between players, where the tension increases every minute, creating a constant atmosphere of despair. The gameplay is based on two teams, scientists and creatures. As a scientist, the player must restore the station's power and find a way to escape, while the creatures, controlled by other players, try to eliminate all survivors. The lack of light and constant jump scares create a feeling of vulnerability, especially as communication and team strategy are essential for survival. Each match is unpredictable, keeping the game exciting every time. The claustrophobic, dimly lit environments make players feel isolated and surrounded by danger at every turn. The tension is heightened by ambient sounds, sudden noises, and flickering lights, creating a psychological horror atmosphere. Every design detail keeps players on high alert, making the survival experience intense and gripping until the end. So, how many of these have you played? And which ones were new to you? If there's a game you think should have made the list, but didn't, let me know in the comments and share your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an update from the world of gaming, and keep discovering the best adventures to play. I'm leaving another video on the screen with 20 games worth every penny. Just click to watch. A big hug, and see you tomorrow.